This video will be show another iteration of this single motor robot car toy thing I've been working on. It's in response to a Robothut comment and video he made on my last video about building this guy, which is very similar. The two are very similar. They can either rotate the steering mechanism around to go in any direction, or drive wheels so that they go in that direction. This one used commutators and these little paper clips to transfer power. That makes it hard to build. He showed how he had built, I believe back in the 80s, he said, one that had 2 ratchet mechanisms that allow the motor to set on top, and it doesn't require the commutators because the motor's not down here and spinning. The motor just sets up here and turns with a drive shaft, and there are 2 ratchet mechanisms, one on the wheel and one on the this part that allows you to steer it. I just made these out of paper clips. This was the first version I had made. When the drive shaft is turned in one direction, the wheel turns. The ratchet assembly allows the wheel to turn. When it's turned in the other direction, this ratchet will stop the wheel from turning and transfer power to the steering part of it. So a ratchet's basically work in opposite directions to select what function you want. This was the first version I built, and it more or less is the same as what he had built in his video that he shows. I believe he said 1980s. The wheel is offset. It's just because of the 2 miter gears. I decided to make a little change, or a couple of changes. I wanted the wheel, because of what I eventually want to build with it, I wanted the wheel in line with the shafts, the drive shaft. So I put another gear down here to get it back over in line. His version, he had 2 more gears out here, an idler gear in the middle, and another gear here that turned like a robot head on top that got you pick which direction, or show which direction you're going to go. I wanted mine to be, once again, I wanted mine to be all in line. So this is the configuration I come up with. You have a gear here, an idler gear here, and a gear on top. You can see they turn in unison because of the idler gear when they go in that direction. I'll use the motor to turn it. You can also see my ratchet mechanism down there working. Ratchet mechanism here I replaced with paper clip. This is, I think, better. It's easier to set up anyway. When it's turned in the opposite direction, you can see the main drive wheel being driven. This is its ratchet mechanism. There's a spring part of a spring from a ballpoint pen. That's what's providing the springs for these. This motor is it runs at about 30 RPM on 6 volts from his battery box. The battery box just has 2 switches that provide directional control of the motor. The motor just runs in forward or reverse. I have a lot of work to do with it left on it. Eventually I want to make some type of body up here, and like something like this on the back side. Although I don't think I'll go back right exactly. It'll have 2 wheels though back here. Some type of like robot body up here. Maybe something down here There's like a shroud or something to cover some of this up. I'm not sure yet. There's a ring here that holds this gear in place. It has to spin, all has to spin very freely for this to work. I'll have to put a tunnel from here down to here for run the wires. That may not be the easiest thing to do. But what the wires, when I get the shroud on, the wires won't interfere with the shroud. They'll come out down here somewhere. I have to do some adjustment on some other things in my files to make it easier to build, although it's not very hard to build right now. Just requires some special link screws. This one I need to cut off or change some of this so that I can use a different screw. Haven't decided on what I'm going to do there. I like the way it works. I got it moving. I got all this stuff operating freely enough. I wasn't sure that the motor would have enough power, but it seems to. I think I might want to go with like a 60 RPM motor on the final one. We'll just have to see. I have to dig out a 60 RPM motor first, test it. One of the things that putting the wheel back in line, it allowed me to gear this bottom drive wheel up just a little bit so it spins a little faster than if it was 1-to-1. Well, I believe that's what I wanted to show. I'll be working on it some more. I'll leave a link to Robothut's video describing, showing the one he made and describing how it works in case you didn't get the operation of it from my video. He did a really good job explaining how his worked. Well, thanks for watching.